What's up, Connection? Welcome to the WAR Wrestling Above Replacement. I'm JT. Joining me as always is my good buddy Marcus here as we go through the history of WWE pay-per-views and rank them all with our special mathematical formula. I want to wish everyone a happy, healthy new year here in 2026, one of our first podcasts of the new year. So excited to be here. Put a bow on 2025 last time around, and this podcast is simulcast. Audio on all podcast applications, except for the All Lang sign. These, I won't run it back. Over at Spotify, and of course on YouTube, you can watch this in video form, which I recommend because it's a very graphical-based podcast. Thanks to our producer, not the toolman Tim Taylor. He's put together some lovely graphics for us. This is a lot of numbers, a lot of lists, a lot of math. So it's a good show to watch. Plus, you get to see our elite shirts. Tonight, I am rocking my Ozzy Osbourne WrestleMania 2 Bulldogs Forever.
Bulldogs Forever.
And Marcus is rocking the shirt for the show and the guns. So you want to tune in. He's got a cutoff on. I recommend it. I've already taken a snapshot. So be sure to watch us, listen, however you're going to do it. Subscribe. We appreciate you. And we have a lot of great content. It's going to be Rumble season before you know it. So we'll be having some more Rumble content. We'll be previewing that. We've got some drafts going on. We've got Wrestling Warzone. We're in the thick of the summer of 97. On a three-way dance was the little hiatus in December. That's back. And we are covering the back end of 2000 as we go through the final stretch of the company's history there. A lot of just other cool content as well. We got Jenny Position Wednesdays, taking it through either horror movies or documentaries, X-Men, a lot of cool stuff there on Wednesdays. And we have a Shooting Sharp every Tuesday with Mike Rossi covering kind of current day wrestling. So we really run the gamut. We got the Ruthless podcast with Matt Farrell going through the Ruthless Aggression era. So if you want it from the world of wrestling or beyond, North South Connection has it. We're entering our 7th year already, which is crazy. Wow. It feels like we just started the ship up. So thank you for all your support. And we're going to go ahead and dive in. Marcus, you want to talk about the concept behind this show?
Absolutely. So we take a show. We start with the first show after WrestleMania that begins our season, and we conclude with WrestleMania itself. That is one season. We go show by show. We go match by match. We start out with a 2.5 rating, and we have a whole rules breakdown to discuss how we get our formula. But the end goal of the season is to determine how the season ranked with our WAR formula. And of course, at the end, we're looking to see what was the best what was the best season of WWE WWF pay-per-views.
All right, very good. We do have some rules to run down. And before we do that, let's mention, like you said, the season. We start the show after WrestleMania and WrestleMania next year. So this is 95-96. Started in Your House 1, ending WrestleMania 12. We're going to throw it to our producer, the toolman Tim Taylor. He's going to run down the rules, and then we'll dive in.
Welcome to WWE WAR. I'm producer Tim. JT and Marcus have taken on the noble task of finding the true answer to the age-old question wrestling fans have debated for years. What is the greatest WWE pay-per-view of all time? To find the answer, WAR looks to explore each and every pay-per-view using a plus-minus scale at a baseline average, where things above average gain a point and things below average lose a point. WWE WAR grades on several categories, including match quality, build, commentary, atmosphere, notable moments, card structure, and rewatchability. The magic number to remember for WWE WAR is 2.5. That is the baseline number for an average replacement level match. Any grade higher or lower than 2.5 raises or lowers the average WAR score. For example, if JT and Marcus give a match a 3-star rating, then that match is 0.5 points above replacement. Add all of the totals up and you get your nice round number to give you your match quality grade. There's also a bonus. If there is a match that both JT and Marcus rate 4.25 or higher, or 0.75 or lower, that match gains or loses a point for either an all-time great match or an all-time bad match. By the time we're done, we will have composed the most comprehensive list ever for WWE pay-per-views to give you the answer of what is the greatest WWE pay-per-view of all time. Take it away, boys.
Did you vote for the song at the Slammies? Best original video?
I think you could vote for the Slammies by WWF Magazine. I think there was like an insert, and I'm pretty sure I sent it in.
They might have had it on AOL at that point already too. It was the Sunny video. I remember Sunny. And then I may have rewatched that 99 to 1,000 times. The Sunny video, You Start the Fire. Who was it? There was one more. There was at least 3 videos. Tell Me a Lie. I think it was one of them. I think it was the Tell Me a Lie video. I feel like there might have been another one in there too for best music video, but you should watch the video because during the rules you often get to see a lot of wrestling moves between Marcus doing some and I do them on my wrestling buddy here. So check him out. Best buddy worker in the business right here.
How's your sharpshooter?
Well, I was trying to do it, but it was hard to do on the chair here. I can do a good sharpshooter.
Legs of the Hulkster.
I almost went full Sid 2001 though when I tried that elbow off the chair just a minute ago.
The elbow's no joke.
Jones playing with the AI patch on my leg or whatever,
Yeah, that elbow's dangerous.
It is dangerous. All right, let's dive in. Survivor Series 1995. It should be a good bounce back, hopefully. In Your House 4 is our last episode. It was in the shitter, bottom 10 pay-per-view. This one we'll see has some potential to maybe do some good things. It took place November 19th, 1995 at the US Air Arena in Landover, Maryland, 14,500. I remember this show and this day very clearly. It is the first Sunday Survivor Series, so it was weird not having it Thanksgiving Eve. And for the last 2 years, 93, 94, was my birthday party. My friend's party was Survivor Series. So like, because my birthday was like a week later usually. So I would have like 4 or 5 friends over, have a sleepover, watch a show. So it was a big deal. I don't think I did it for this one because it was a little bit earlier. But I also remember that day I had to do like a all-day retreat for my confirmation or whatever at like some church. And I just remember the hours moving as slow as shit because I just wanted to get home and watch Survivor Series and having to be at this boys retreat all day or whatever for my confirmation was just fucking terrible. And I remember after, like, I think my dad was late. It was something, and I remember just waiting outside. I could just picture it, like that parking lot, just waiting outside for him to pick me up so I could just get the hell out of there and get home to watch Survivor Series live. So I don't remember if I watched it alone or if anyone came over, but I definitely remember the anticipation. It was well built. It was exciting because it felt like, we had Survivor matches the last couple of years, but for whatever reason, this one felt more true to like the older Survivor Series for some reason. Yeah. Like, I don't know, the extra Survivor match that's in there. Like, it was mainly Survivor matches with only 2 non. So it just felt different, even though I guess the year before was like that too. For whatever reason, it felt just more traditional vibes. So anyway, that was my story. Let's get to the show. Let's see. Do we have any dark matches on this evening?
We do get Landover, Maryland, finally getting their pay-per-view. I think this is the first one they get from WWF after SummerSlam 92 gets pulled for Wembley Stadium.
And, obviously it was a hotbed for a long time in the 80s and 90s on the house show loop. There's some that are still out there on, they're televised at the time. There was one dark match. It's an interesting one. Is the Smoking Guns defeat Public Enemy, who of course were still in ECW at this point because they didn't leave until House Party in early 96. And they're on Nitro like the second week of January. So they must have signed pretty quick, like after this tryout match. And Chad and I, again, have talked about it quite a bit with them and a couple other teams. Like, WWF really needed tag teams, and I'm surprised. Like, Public Enemy had way more of a window here than like WCW, because at the time they were bringing back the Steiners or bringing back the Road Warriors. You had Luger and Sting, you had Harlem Heat, you had the Blue Blood. Like, there was a lot of team depth in WCW. There's like none here. So it felt like the Public Enemy could have really kind of had more of a ramp to, be successful here. But
yeah, at the very least, I'm surprised they didn't get brought in to be like the new Bushwhackers, because they have like a look that can be marketed to kids if you'd like,
right.
And they kind of work like that brawling style that could definitely be toned down. And the stuff they do is pretty exciting. The splashes to the table and the cannonballs and stuff like that. And good workers at the time, or could be good workers. Sometimes they got paid for the attempt, not the execution in some of their matches.
So many annoying misses by WWF at this time. It's like you got Douglas, You got Candido, who you stick in a stupid gimmick, and like you could have Public Enemy. Like ECW was hot. Like they had people there that they could have used, and it would have worked. Like imagine the tag division '96 if it's Candido, and even if it's Tom Pritchard, whatever, working as like Tom Pritchard in a more serious version. The Guns, the Public Enemy, like if make the Rockers like a little more serious instead of like Burnouts in the '70s. There's like pieces there that could have worked, and been a little bit.
They could have got Furnace and LaFon a year earlier.
Yeah, Furnace and LaFon are out there. Make the Godwins like a little bit more serious, like they would become eventually, instead of them being the hee-haw bushwhackers. So like, there's a lot of like options that they could have really had a much better looking tag division. But all right, let's get into the actual card proper. Our opening match is a classic Survivor Series match. It is the underdogs taking on Zibadi Donas. That is Skip, Rad Radford, Dr. Tom Pritchard, and the 1-2-3 Kid taking on Marty Jannetty, Hakushi, Barry Horowitz, and Bob Holly. And it was supposed to, this is one of those, like, we talked about kind of the classic Survivor Series, right? Was always riddled with replacements. This is another one where Jean-Pierre Lafitte is supposed to be on the match on the heel side. And they made it basically like Ted DiBiase bought the spot and paid him off to get Kid into the match because Kid had just turned heel. We'll talk about that in the build. But he's now with DiBiase. So he gets put in here to kind of give him the Jesus push of the match. We have Hakushi, who's now officially a face, after he had his issues with Skip and Rad Radford. And he's been working with Barry Horowitz, who's Americanizing him. And one of Vince's favorite gimmicks is Americanizing a Japanese wrestler. We'll get it like multiple times later. But you get it here. So this is a really good opener. Like, we talked about it last show where In Your House 4 was like rock bottom and like this kind of turns things around. And already it's like, okay, we have like a bunch of younger guys that kind of can fly around a little bit. We more of an aerial style match. And this felt like a 87 with the Stallions and Bees, 93 with the Kid and Jannetty. Like it kind of had those vibes, like a cool little opener with some lower, to mid-card guys and just kind of let them go loose. I went 3 1/4. You get a good ending. Kid's the sole survivor because Sid comes out and helps them to start their partnership as part of DiBiase's team. That's going to be a team that they do put together, Kid and Sid, for a bit. So, and he beats Jannetty to end the match. So Jannetty gets his push on his side. There's also a really cool move in here. We get the super powerbomb from Jannetty to Skip, which was like mind-blowing at the time. I was like, holy shit, when they broke that out. And funny enough, Skip, as Candido would use that as a finisher in ECW for a while, the blonde bombshell. I don't know if he took it from Jannetty or Jannetty took it from him or what, but Skip would use that quite a bit in like 97, or Candido would use that quite a bit, like 97, 98 ECW. So,
yeah, 3.5 for me. I think this is up there with maybe a couple other Survivor Series matches. If I was to show somebody, like, hey, this is a Survivor Series match, like this is one of the ones I would show them. It's textbook. It's really well executed. It's got really good action and a unique time period. Like, look at the workers in this match, like Waltman, Spicoli, Pritchard, Candido, on and on and on. Like
Hakushi,
everybody in this match. Yeah, everybody in this match can work.
And again, it's like another miss. Like instead of stupid Rad Radford, like if he's Louis Spicoli, like it's just like think of how close they were to what it could have been. Like Chris Candido, Tom Pritchard, Louis Spicoli, and the Kid. You know what I mean? Like that's like a cool team. You know what I mean? Like, and Holly's like one of the better workers of the year at that era for WWF. So they have their workers in the match.
Yep. Yeah, but a really good match, 3.5, and like you said, DiBiase buying the spot. It's like almost handing a win to 1-2-3 Kid on a silver platter because he's easily the biggest star in the match. He's probably the best worker in the match, at least in WWF. So it's like kind of handing him a win, and he gets to be the sole survivor. So it works out really well for him, and I think you guys talk about it too, like a bit of a missed opportunity not renaming him. Even when I watch it now, like him coming out with DiBiase, you get like the full reveal of like what the package is supposed to look like, and just something's missing, like new gear, a new like colorway.
They repeat the same issue we talked about a million times with Tatanka. They did the same thing a year later. Like Tatanka should have changed his look. We've talked about it. Like they should have put him in the suit. DiBiase buys him a casino, like whatever it is, right? Like mix it up a little bit. And here, like he should be I thought for the moment it happened, should be the $1 Million Kid. And even if you don't want him to cut his hair, like do like the ponytail, like almost like a Wall Street kind of look, you know what I mean? Like have it in the high ponytail or whatever, and have his hair tied back, or and even he comes out maybe in a different look. Maybe he's got like almost like he'll wear his like 6 with like the shorter tights, and a t-shirt or something. Just like change it a little bit, you know, or may have him grow the beard in sooner to be a little bit more serious. Like it just looks the same. And I think the name 1-2-3 Kid bothered me anyway for years. Like I thought it was stupid. I thought he should always just been like the Kid. But I think $1 Million Kid would have been fucking perfect. Like it was right there on a platter for them. Like $1 Million Kid. Like why not just go with it? Like it never made sense that they didn't go from it.
Yeah. So we move on to our second match of the evening. Oh boy, we got the Japanese contingent.
I'll write it down. We got
Go ahead, have at it. Yeah, got
Bertha
that one.
Faye. This is what I used to do for Chris Cole. I got you. Bertha Faye, Aja Kong, Tomoko Watanabe, and Lioness Asuka versus Alundra Blaze, Kyoke Inoue, Saki Hasagawa, and Chaparita Asari. So there you go. I'll be the Ross here, Vince McMahon.
Thank you. That Japanese lady. No, thank you. 3.25. This is really good. It's a bit of a different style. Some of the selling is not necessarily there. It's more about hitting the big moves and keeping the action going. It's just a stylistic difference. It's not no selling for the sake of no selling, except for Bertha Faye when she gets eliminated. That's pretty hilarious. But they do a really good job of building up Aja Kong, at least building to what you think is going to be a big match between her and Alundra Blaze. So 3.25, and yeah, that back fist is quite the business.
And Blaze had regained the women's title from Bertha, so Bertha's pretty much done here. This again, I think this is why the card felt so classic. This was like the '87 women's match, like when they hadn't had this many women like to have it a match like since then, and it. This is another thing we talked about on Warzone, like Chad and I years ago. We covered this era. It was like, man, like the women's division, you kind of spent 2 years dicking around trying to figure it out. And it's like suddenly you make this partnership with All Japan. You got a bunch of women that can work. Like now they could have went pedal to the floor. Like, and they needed something to fill the card. Like if you have these women around for 96, you could have some like really cool stuff if you kind of let them rip. And they don't do much with them. They end up, I think WCW ends up, I think it's the New Japan women over there, right? Because they bring in Bull Nakano and stuff, and around the same time they do like the match of World War III. So they both kind of tried the same thing at the same time. And they were planning Aja Kong versus Blaze at the Rumble because it's in the magazine before Blaze leaves, and the women's division dies here until what 98 when they bring it back, right? With Sable and Jackie is kind of when it restarts. But they don't even bring the title. What was it, late 98? I think is when they bring the title back, right? So it goes dormant for a good 3 years after this. Like, this is it. But they definitely were planning. I'm assuming Kong was going to win at the Rumble, and they would just rinse repeat what they've done the last 2 years, where Blaze loses early in the year and regains it later in the year. But it felt like there was something there. This match, though, similar to 87, like if you would have asked me off the top of my head, I would have guessed closer to like a 3 3/4. Rewatching, I was like, like 3 feels right. It's good. A little below kind of my memory of it, but it was entertaining. It was something different. It was something cool, and I liked the try. I just wish they kind of went with it because, again, some of these cards in '96 could have used like some of these hot, in-ring action from the All Japan women, like run some six women tags, some tag matches, single stuff. Like I think they could have just give them 8-9 minutes of show, whatever. I think it could have really helped. And you can even built it around like Superstars or something, like the women's exclusive on Superstars, if you don't want to like use Raw time, kind of make Superstars feel a little bit must see, to some folks. So, all right, that's all along. We go to our one of our 2 singles matches on the night. We have the second match for Goldust in ring here against the final appearance in WWF history for Bam Bam Bigelow, which is kind of crazy that he never came back at all. So this is it for the Bammer. He in a very ass-very match with Goldust, but he, had just he's the guy, right? He's the Dolph Ziggler. We've had the litany of guys that have just started gangbusters in the season, and just by the time Mania rolls around, are completely dead. He's another guy who's announced for the Rumble in '96. We'll talk about it as we get there, but no shows. And then he has like a cup of coffee in ECW in '96. Then he comes back in 97. He's obviously a big player there until he leaves to WCW. But this is like the epitome of like, I'm done, like paint by numbers. Like he agrees to go in there. But Goldust just kind of kicks the shit out of him. Like, Bigelow doesn't get much. He kind of is checked out. So it gives Goldust a notch on the resume, but the match kind of sucks. I went 1 3/4. And I thought there was some like a poetic nature to this because when Bigelow debuted and his first pay-per-view match back in the company was at the Big Boss Man at the 93 Rumble. And it was Boss Man's final match before he left the company. He met a whatever. It's his final big match, right? And it felt very much the same. Remember, like Boss Man kind of half-assed that. He kind of was checked out. Bigelow beats him. Boss Man leaves. And we kind of fast forward almost 3 years later. Dustin Rhodes comes in, has one of his first matches against Bigelow, is completely checked out, kind of puts him over and then it vanishes. So I don't know. It was kind of poetic to me that Bigelow kind of mirrors, the way they went about his debut with Boss Man. But 1 3/4. To me, it was about the same as the Jannetty match. Same concept, same style. Goldust still figuring it out. He's at least got rid of the black ears. I'm glad they figured that out pretty quick. That was a win for sure. But
yeah, got rid of the black ears. Still has the third leg. 1.25 for me. It's distracting.
You think Robert Fuller looked at that thing and was like, "Damn, boy."
Try to give him some competition. It's slow. It's beyond just like methodical. It's just really slow in nature. So I'm always down for slowing it down in the ring, but it's plodding. It feels like they're really going nowhere. Just a really like extended squash. So 1.25, and again, they're not exactly sure what to highlight or showcase a Goldust in ring.
Do you think they should have put Goldust in a Survivor match, or do you think it was shrewd to just at least give him a singles win? Like the match ends up being shit, but do you think they at least could have maybe, been better?
I think if you could have put him in the wild card match, I think if you're having those top guys like sell for him, not even just like in ring, but the character, almost like Bad News Brown. If you're having the guys like sell for how off-putting this guy is and what's his deal, and you're having everybody kind of in on the act and playing ball, I think that does a lot more for him than a one-on-one showcase or even being in like the lower card Survivor Series match. I think just having guys react to the character would have been enough.
Which on this card do you think he could have been part of, though, when you look at it? I think that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Because you could maybe want to say the wild card, but like he's probably not going to win. Like, so what do you do there? Unless you go with the Undertaker gimmick where you have him, maybe get counted out or something.
Yeah,
or I guess you could have put him in that opener and have him and Kid survive, take out Pritchard or something.
I'm trying to see if there's a way to. Yeah, because you got the guns. I'm trying to figure out if there was any more people on the roster you could scrounge up to make the wild card a 5-on-5. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. The easiest answer is probably just taking King out and having.
Yeah, but you can't put him in that Taker match because you can't have him lose.
Yeah.
I think you either have to have him survive with Kid or you put him in the wild card and have him survive. And it could have been a soft launch for the him and Razor stuff too. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
I guess you could have had him there, but I get why they had him in a single showcase.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to figure out where you could insert him, and you don't want to do the thing with like him sitting ringside, which that would have been interesting too if he's just sitting ringside or you show him in the crowd or something.
You had him with Clinton.
I could have had him with Clinton. Taking some dictation with old Bill. But you could have had him like watching the wild card match. It's kind of like there's so many top guys in that wild card match. It's like, okay, well, like who is he watching? Who does he have his eye on? And that's how you could have got started with the Ramon feud.
Right. Yeah. And maybe just get a little more time to the Survivor matches, or maybe you could do that Guns Public Enemy match on pay-per-view,
Yeah.
So, all right. Nothing good here. So, what do we got next?
We've got the Royals taking on the Dark Side. Survivor Series match. And this is a sweep for the Dark Side. Undertaker cleans house. eliminates everybody. Mabel hits the bricks for the count-out elimination. The dark side stands tall. I went 2.75. It's pretty decent. Of course, you have the dark side all wearing the Undertaker shirts in support. You get the unveiling of Phantom Taker. Probably his best look. I'll volley to producer Tim, who's a Undertaker fan. Is this his best look?
It's up there. It depends, like, the eras. Like, I would say it's one of his best look, maybe, of the OG Taker. I don't know if I'd have it all the time as his best look, but, like, all right, without question.
Without question. All right. I'm partial.
It is badass. The mask looks cool. I mean, it looks cool.
I like Satan Taker, where he's like 400 pounds and he's so bloated. He can barely move. I like that Taker. It's a cool look.
Survivor Series 2000, the snakeskin pants, I think, is the worst Taker ever was. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Stringy
he's
hair.
Like the other 400 pounds in that match.
Terrible.
He's big, slow. Yeah.
But he looks great here, and he just kicks the shit out of everyone. It's great. Like, I actually forgot how much fun this match was, because you kind of look at the teams and like, because you get Undertaker, Savio Vega, Henry Godwin, and Fatu, which is probably the highlight of Fatu's run before he comes back later. But and then you got the King Mabel, the Royal Dentist, Isaac Yankum, not Yankum, and Hunter S. Helmsley, the Royal Blue Blood. So got to put that team together, and it's, you know, well booked. I think was the Visionaries to this point the only all surviving team. I don't think we had another one.
The Visionaries, you have the Babyface team from 91. That's like Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah. And 94 didn't the? No, I don't think there's one in 94. I think those are the only two.
Does
$1 million team in 94?
Huh? No, okay.
No, they don't. I thought the heavy bodies get eliminated. I think it's just Bigelow and Bundy in 94. But yeah, so it's a clean sweep.
Oh, the four doinks clean sweep.
Oh, sorry, the four doinks. Yeah, that's right. So this is the fourth one, but it felt dominant. Like, probably the most dominant one, honestly, of all those, because like the other ones, like the Visionaries was like still a like they had to really work for it. The doinks is this tomfoolery. I guess those faces in 91 was pretty dominant, but this felt like a complete evaporation of the heels.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of go back and forth with the other guys for a bit, and the Taker comes in and just destroys everyone. I love the choke slam on Helmsley from the apron back into the ring. It was really cool looking. And it's a really cool moment, and the crowd is like nuts. Like, they go crazy for all this. And it's kind of like, for those in the know, it's kind of like the Bone Street crew, which is kind of cool too with Taker, because like it's all his boys, with Godwin, Fatu, and Savio, right? It's kind of, I don't know, was Savio in the BSK? I forget, but I know Godwin and Fatu were.
Yeah, I think Savio was. Feels right.
Yeah, I think so. You could have turned Kama face and stuck him in here just to really round it out.
Yeah. You get the cool chokeslam from or to Helmsley, like the inside out chokeslam, which is probably the first time we've seen the chokeslam like been played with. And it just reminded me of like the interview that Austin does. He gives it, I think it's to WWF Magazine, while he takes his ball and he goes home, and he talks about, Triple H, like, he got all big and jacked up, and you used to be a solid little hand, and now you're all slow and the ratings are in the tank. He like takes such a big swing at Triple H while he's out of the company. It just reminded me, like, man, like Triple H was a good little hand at this time. Good stuff there. And then, Sir Mo takes a choke slam. And it's one of the best sells I've ever seen. He takes the choke slam. He does the black guy sell with the leg, and then he rolls out of the ring holding his back like he just slipped down the steps, and he runs to Mabel. It's so good. It's high comedy. It's the best stuff. Makes the match for me.
And like you said, I love the shirts. Like, they all have the Taker shirt on for the dark side. It's a cool match. Like, I feel like it's forgotten a little bit. We also probably get the best compliment of all time. We have co-producer Jennifer Smith watching along, and she said the show's a wild mix of ultra nerd and zany morning radio. So I think that's the vibe we go for. So there you go.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to our fifth match on the evening. We're going to stay in the classic Survivor Series style, and this is the wild card match. I always laugh. I think I told the story on PTV back in the day. On the box or the magazine somewhere, it said wild card bout. And the writing was so small. I thought it said wild card boot. And I thought that was the name of the match. It was a wild card boot match. That Gorilla Mon's been called that for some reason. Like, oh, it's a wrestling boot. Not to be confused with the wrestling boot band and Hulk Hogan. But so we got a wild card boot match. And this is a gorilla man of the people special. So he decided to basically wild card mix some heels and faces together. It was going to be drawn at random. And this was the match that they pulled together. So it's the British Bulldog, Psycho Sid, Ahmed Johnson, and Shawn Michaels against Yokozuna, Owen Hart, Razor Ramon, and Dean Douglas. So it's really just Razor and three heels against like 2 and 2. We do have the debut of Ahmed Johnson. He showed up on Raw, body slammed Yokozuna, which is more like a hip toss for sure. But he slams Yoko on Raw and comes into this show with a good amount of hype on him. This kind of is like the last gasp for Sid as a main eventer. Like he had already been kind of trickling down the card, but they put him here with these guys, which feels like a big deal. Kind of same for Douglas. He's pretty much done after this. For the most part, he hangs around a little bit, but this is kind of the end of him as a player. You get Owen and Yoko together. And I always liked the concept of this match. I thought it was pretty good. I do think maybe, again, in my mind, it held up better. I probably would have thought closer to 4 stars coming in, ended up being about 3.5 for me. You get, Razor basically turns on a team. Eventually gets tired of him. Who's he cost? Does he cost Douglas? I forget what he ends up doing, but he definitely turns on someone in the match. I think it's Douglas. And we have Johnson and Shawn and Bulldog survive, right? So Sid is the only bum that gets eliminated from that team. This will lead to a big moment the next night of Raw, that we'll get to on our next show, but with Owen and Shawn kind of getting into it in this match as well. This is also Shawn's in-ring return from Syracuse. So we had not seen him in the ring since then. So I like the concept. I think it's a cool mix of talent. You look at it, it's vibrant. Like this screams like 95 to me. Like we talked about this a lot, like 93 and 92, like the colors. I think Rumble 90s, another big colors match, right? Like this is another one that encapsulates this era. Like looking at this picture, like the reds, the blues, right? The black, like just those colors proliferate everyone in the match. Like they either have red, blue, or black on. It's just like kind of a cool balance to it. So I thought this is a lot of fun. The match is a lot of fun.
Yeah, 3.5 for me. Credit where credit is due. Shawn does have his working boots on. I mean, he should. He just had a month off. But yeah, Shawn shows up ready to work.
We're starting the best, probably 12-month in-ring for him stretch, right? Like, yeah, he's got some good stuff in 97 toward the end of the year, but it's short-lived because of the injury. And then his comeback is a whole other story. But like, I think of his first initial run, this November 95 to November 96 is like his best in-ring work.
He comes back like a guy who knows he's going to win the Rumble and win the title coming up. So he better pull it together, which at this time he does know. So yeah, it's a really fun match. It's really good. I like the concept. I remember the magazine you're talking about because they have the wild card match and it's like you could do the predictions of who you thought was going to get eliminated. So yeah, it was definitely in the magazine. The wild card boot match. Colors pop in this match. Ahmed Johnson comes in. If he could work even just half decent, I don't think he's as bad as a worker as is remembered. It's really the injuries once you get into 97.
The injuries that kill him. Yeah. It's the injury.
But for 96, he's really good. I don't know, really good, but he's decent enough. They've definitely pushed worse.
You look at him here.
Great charisma.
And Chad and I cover this a lot in Warzone, but you look at him here and you're like, this fucking guy's going to be a star. And then in 96, you're like, this guy is the next guy. Like you're thinking about it. And when he set to fight Shawn on that Raw, when he wins the Battle Royal, he is like molten over. Like I remember being so excited for that match. And then that kick to the kidney, he's just never the same. Like he never gets it back. Never gets it back.
Yeah, I remember as a kid thinking, like Shawn's fine and whatever is champ, I get it, but like Ahmed Johnson, like that's what I'm used to. Like the muscles, the explosion, the intensity. I was like, he's gonna be the champ. especially with Brett out. I thought that's where they were going. So, and who knows how that match would have shook out. They probably have a brawl finish or whatever.
There's a world where like Vader beats Shawn at SummerSlam, and then Ahmed beats Vader
for sure.
to like take the big title and become the guy.
Yeah, crown him at MSG.
Yeah.
Who says no? Yeah, 3.5. 3.5. Go.
I will not run through the door like you did with the buddy. That's where I'll draw the line with the buddy. That poor jobber.
It's wrecked. Oh man. All right. Next up we have our main event of the evening. It is for the World Wrestling Federation title. Diesel loses the strap to Bret Hart for the third reign of the Hitman. We get Bret in the classic pink gear, all pink with the black trim on the sides. We get Diesel, the silver top, long black pants. Great match. It plays off of the two previous matches on pay-per-view between these two, and it was a really good touch to make it no DQ, because the other matches had ended with outside interference. And so it felt like a natural progression to get to this. And they did a really good job of building up Bret as like the last hurdle of Diesel. He's taken on all challengers. He's beaten everybody. He's beaten all the monsters. Bret does a good job of pointing out that like the wrestlers are the ones that have given Diesel the most trouble, and Bret's the best wrestler and plans on taking the title from him. So just a great match. Even the way they start the match with removing the turnbuckle covers, and both being willing participants in what's about to happen. You get the pacing of the match with Nash just delivering bomb after bomb early on to Bret. Bret finds his opening finally, kind of rope-a-dope style. Takes advantage, looks to pick apart the knee of Nash. Uses the ringside environment. It's another great highlight of this match. There was no like going underneath the ring to pull out weapons or anything contrived like that. They use the steps, they use the camera cables, mic cable, they use the big heavy padded chair. And then we get the classic spot with the ringside table. Bret gets launched. It's the first major table bump in WWF. I know Harley raced on Saturday night's main event, but this is the first real one. The table absolutely explodes. Bret disappears into the mix of monitors and table coverings. It's fantastic. And then, of course, like, how do you follow that up? They get Bret in the ring, and they're getting ready to take it home. It gets loaded up for the jackknife. He collapses. Diesel takes too much time, which they told the story in the match that Diesel wasn't going to rush anything. So he's really taking his time. And then he gets rolled up. Small package for the 1-2-3 Oli. Bret's new champ. Nash throws a fit. Drops a big MFer right into the camera. Delivers a couple jackknives to Mr. Hitman. And we go off the air kind of in chaos with a new world champ. But did Diesel just turn heel? What's the next evolution for him as champ? But the title is back on Bret. So I think this is a masterpiece. It is my personal favorite match. Tells a beautiful story. No doubt or 5 for me.
Yeah, it's close. 4 3/4 to me. It's a fantastic match. Oh, come on. I don't know. Gotta be a little picky. No, the table bump's phenomenal. It's such a good bounce back for Diesel. Like, it's one of the biggest swings in like mid events probably for a wrestler. Like, to have that bulldog match and then bounce back with this match is great. And it's not just Bret carrying him. I mean, he does his part. He's great in the match. They have good chemistry. We've seen it in their other 2 matches, which are both really good too. Rumble 95 and King of Ring 94. This is obviously the best of the 3. But you summed it up. The no DQ is a great step to have in place. It was time. But you do wonder, like, if Diesel had this level of output for most of the year, people might have been okay with him keeping the belt here, right? Like, rolling on. I don't think it's crazy going into this. And I know Chad and I had this conversation when you did this show on Warzone. Like, was it obvious? I think it was obvious. Like, I remember even pretty confident Bret was winning. But I do think there's a world where you can see Diesel retaining and Shawn beats him at 12 in the rematch. Like, I think you kind of knew or said it to Bret, Shawn, but like, going into the show, you could think like, all right, well, Diesel's beat everyone. He hasn't beaten Bret. He beats Bret, and Shawn takes him down in the rematch a year later at Mania. Like, I don't think that's that crazy out of the box that they could have went that direction for Mania. So this is kind of the tipping point for both guys. I think Diesel needed this. I think the loss freed him, and he pretty much says as much, right? And it's like promo work after the show. I think it freed him of the shackles of having to be the guy, right? And he got to just kind of be himself. And ironically, the decision to have him lose here in turn leads to the NWO, right? Like a year later, or not even a year later, half a year later, which is crazy, right? Because if this moment doesn't happen where he snaps, beats up Brett, and then, goes off the next night, like it doesn't start that build of that Stone Cold Diesel character, right? That prototype Stone Cold Steve Austin that he becomes to roll into becoming Big Sexy Kevin Nash, the NWO, right? So it's kind of cool historically too, when you look at that way. So it's a fantastic match. Definitely one of the best of all time. I'd have to look at where I had it on my GWE matches list. I mean, I'm sure it was top 25 or something, whatever, but maybe higher. So yeah, tremendous and a big swing, and they needed it. And again, you look at this show and it's like, where has this been for most of the year? And it's not just this match, like the whole show. They had the work rate on display. They used all the guys they had at their disposal. They mixed in some different stuff with the youth, with the women, they showcase some different pieces. So it's, it was a really cool night there where everything clicked for them. And you look at this and you're like, okay, hopefully this moribund 12 months that we've just suffered through since Survivor Series 94 is maybe behind us, right? And we're going to move along and turn the corner. So it does take some time, but they get there. All right, so in ring for the night, that gives us a total score 4.5. So very good in-ring show. Again, our best are like 6.5. Our worst are what we had last month, -4. This is like a very strong to great in-ring show. All right, let's get to our build. Let's see how the show is built up. Point for the kid turning heel on Ramon. We talked about that. It was kind of a cool moment because I think it's all the same match, right? Is it the same match where Sid jumps through the pyro to attack Razor? Is that the same match? Okay. All right. But there is that, right? Yeah. Sid jumps through the pyro and jumps Razor in their match.
Yeah.
But Kid does help Sid beat Razor, right? Isn't that the...
Yeah. Kid helps. It's basically he pulls Sid's
he's the ref. Isn't he the ref?
Yeah, he's a ref. Yeah. So he pulls Sid down from the Razor's edge, and that turns to a jackknife and then probably a non-necessary fast count. And
right.
Yeah, that's how Kid joins.
Okay, so he's in the
Sid jumping through the pyro. That's to get to, I think that takes Hall out of King of the Ring.
Oh, okay, that's then.
I'm pretty sure that's that. Yeah,
that's a cool moment too. We got Skip, Horowitz, and Hakushi still kind of feuding, and even Radford, I guess, is part of that as well, where he had been the body Donna in training. Horowitz, I think, beats him on TV as well. Hakushi still kind of trolling Skip from their shit. Alundra Blaze wins the women's title back from Bertha Faye. Undertaker's back looking for revenge on Mabel still. Cam Cornette's officially formed and strengthened as a top stable. This is kind of where they all come together. Bulldogo and Yoko kind of take over now. They'll be the top dogs for 96. Ahmed slams Yoko in his debut on Raw. And then a +3 for the entire Brett Diesel build. We kind of play off. You talked about this, right? They play off the two previous matches.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the no DQ. We get the face-to-face magazine cover, which is on your shirt. We get the promos on TV. They're both discussing their strategy. Brett's kind of built up as Diesel's last unconquered challenge. Diesel's 1-year reign as champion, coming to an end. So, +3, it's kind of an all-time built main event for sure. They put a lot of focus on the two. You come into the show thinking these are the top two guys in the company and like they're going to war. And it's not as big as like Austin and Taker and Hogan and Warrior, obviously not to that level, but it's like of this time, it kind of is, right? Like these are the top two guys that have been really ruling the roost for the last 18 months. Really since Mania 10, right? These guys have been in control of the company because Diesel heats up in April of 94. So they're really your guys. So this is kind of feels like a culmination of that initial new gen era that really launched after 10. This is kind of the first half coming to an end with these guys going to war.
All right. For our cons of event build, we have Radford working as a body Donna in training, loses to Horowitz, aimless, dead on arrival gimmick, unfortunately. We get Goldust and Bigelow with zero hyper build for a top pay-per-view.
I don't know if Bigelow had even been on TV, really, honestly, since
I don't remember him being on
3.
TV.
Like, I don't think he's on much, and then they just announced that he's fighting Goldust here. Like, I think he was doing dark match stuff, but I don't think he's on TV really at all.
He just in my memory, he was always the guy that when like the fan would come into the ring to like ring announce on Superstars, it's like Bam Bam was always the guy making his entrance.
All right, let me check. He fights Bulldog at In Your House 3. Yeah, he's not even on Raw. He's not on Raw at all until this show. So I don't know if he was on Superstars during this time. He obviously did that dark match at 4, but yeah, he's like off TV pretty much, at least like the main show after he loses to Bulldog. And then they just break him out at Mothballs here.
Yeah, one more payday. And then last note here, we get not a lot of feud depth in the Survivor Series matches outside of the captains.
All right, so for builds, 6. Pretty good.
6.
Well-built show. All right, let's get to our commentary. We didn't mention it. We kind of saved it for here, but we have the return of Mr. Perfect as a surprise. I remember being like super excited when he came out, and they do it like as a cold open before they get to the open of the show. They just fade into the arena. Do they do the national anthem first and then he comes out, or does he just come out? I think he just comes out, right? It's just like I feel like they fade into the arena, and Fink is just like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Perfect," and he comes out to the ring. And then they go to the opening video. So it's really cool. It deepens the bench because you got King, you got Ross, you got Vince. Did they even have another heel at this point? Was King doing everything?
King's doing. I mean, you got Doc Hendricks, but
yeah, they had Doc.
Yeah.
But they needed another guy. So like Perfect coming in definitely adds some legitimacy. And he's good on the show. I should say this. He's a little shaky here. He gets better as the year goes on. Like I think he gets better into 96 once he gets more familiar. You could tell here he probably hadn't been watching much of what was going on in his time off because he's a little bit lost in some parts. But he does add a legitimate voice. A point for the good hype around 1-2-3 Kid. A really funny historical note. Perfect randomly out of nowhere says that Hunter S. Helmsley likes to be called Triple H. And I don't think he's referenced as Triple H in any way before this or after this until DX forms in like August of 97 and they start calling him that. So I don't know if Perfect was just like riffing, I guess, off the cuff and just said it, but it's a real weird moment when he says it. He likes to be called Triple H, McMahon. A point for Bulldog being lined up as top contender for In Your House. They're doing a good job, kind of with the building up toward him. A nice touch of Perfect still carving his grudge against Michaels years later. Goes in hard about Syracuse. He's all over him. So he's hated him since WrestleMania 9. like he's pretty much since he dumped that bucket of wood on his head in the back of Caesar's Palace. He's had it out for Sean. He carries it on here. A good job kind of meeting the moment of the main event. They really rise to the occasion. And then, Perfect, funny enough, suggests that Sean only got beat up by one Marine, not 7 or whatever they say. So
yeah. Which is funny, but that's kind of the belief story is that, you have the buddies there kind of holding off, but it's really the one dude that beats up Sean,
right.
Not 7 or whatever the story is. So it kind of like, the Clique wasn't necessarily, they didn't have a ton of fans backstage. And I don't think Perfect necessarily was one of them. So it was pretty cool to see Perfect kind of slide that comment in. And even Vince like tries to power over him like after that comment.
And I think I mentioned the Titan sinking series too, like a couple episodes back. He does like a whole section on Syracuse and everything that went down with all the reports and the fallout from that. So I highly recommend those by James Dixon. They're super like cheap on Amazon. You can either get the audiobook or I should say like the ebook. I think they might be audiobook, but they're definitely in ebook form. They're really, really good reads. So I again highly recommend them as supplemental if you haven't read them yet.
Into our cons for commentary, we have Perfect clearly not.
Go buy some.
Yeah, right. Perfect clearly not as engaged with the product. Lots of generic platitudes and random throwaway comments that add a whole lot of nothing. We got the disaster class handling of the All Japan women's names and action. Yeah, Vince directly tells JR just to handle it like I did with you.
Yeah, he's like, all right, you take it away, JR.
Take it away.
At least it wasn't as bad as Rumble 88, where they call them like pink and red, or whatever the hell they call them.
Yeah.
Jumping bomb angels.
We got Perfect's outdated misogynistic commentary. Whatever happened to the All-American Woman? Talks about women being in the kitchen and yeah.
Imagine him and Larry Zbyszko at a bar just talking about like what women should be doing.
Sheesh. Perfect way too much. Look at me on commentary. makes Ventura and Foley blush. You can tell, like, he's still angling to get back in the ring, kind of comparing everybody to himself. And
yeah, he's put himself over. But I think part of it too
yeah.
is he just doesn't know the stories or the workers, so he just like doesn't know how to relate. Like, so it's a lot of just when I was in the ring, McMahon, I never did that. Like, so it's a lot of that, which is funny because I think he gets forgotten. Like, it almost feels like, oh, he's gonna get used to commentary, but he announced all of 90, like late 91 to 92. Like, he was the guy on Superstars that whole year. So like he had a rapport with Vince as an announcer for like a year before that, and he was good in 92. He does get better in 96 again, but you could tell he's off the couch here. Like, he has not been prepping and watching the fucking programming in any way.
Yeah, he's no Joe Flacco rolling off the couch.
Or Joe Fowler.
Yeah. And then perfect xenophobic comments with Savio Vega is disgusted at the dancing, the music. And it's more than just like being annoyed at the babyface having a good time. He's really disgusted. McMahon.
What's this guy doing? I was gonna say something. I forget where I was at. Something along this lines. Anyway, yeah, perfect, good addition. We'll get better to the whole thing, but it's definitely an interesting trip. All right, so commentary score 2. So
all right,
yeah, not bad.
We're in the plus.
Let's get to atmosphere. Big pop for Mr. Perfect. We start the show. Great heat on 1, 2, 3 Kid. The crowd's pretty hot for Jannetty. Like, they're really behind him in that opening match. Good buzz for the All Japan Women offense for their big high spots. Here's another thing we didn't really talk about yet. We kind of referenced it earlier, but it's Bill Clinton impersonators in the house, similar to WrestleMania 10. They bring him back here. I think it's the same guy. And they have some funny bits. They have the pyro goes off and Todd's interviewing him, and the Secret Service like dives on him because they think it's a gunshot. And then they have him meeting with Backlund, and Backlund's talking about his presidential campaign and everything. And then, it's kind of an important moment for the development of Sunny. Like, she hadn't really been presented yet as like a sex symbol. She had just kind of been like the aerobics teacher and like kind of annoying the way they presented her as like the annoying gym girl. This is the first time they have her in a dress and they have her like sitting on Clinton's lap doing the sexual innuendo. So it's kind of the first like, hey, we may use her for more than just being like the annoying manager, right? Yeah. We see it more into 96, obviously, quite a bit, but this is where kind of it starts. Where they're like, oh, actually, this chick is a fucking smoke show. We should be using her for much more, We get a point for Goldust entrance, point for the Undertaker entrance, point for the crowd being nuclear for the Dark Side the Royals, a point for the big pop for Shawn, the big pop for Brett winning the title, and then a point for the great classic Survivor Series look of the era.
Yeah. Last one we're going to get for the classic Survivor Series look.
Yeah, end of an era.
1996. So, RIP. For our cons atmosphere, we have the hot crowd gets nuked by the Goldust Bigelow snoozer, and the crowd becomes disengaged a bit after Hakushi is eliminated. They were really into Hakushi. Probably should have pulled an audible and had him be the last one eliminated on the face side.
Yeah, I wonder what happened with him too. I don't know if there's anything. Look, stop spending $5 on Holiday Cola and buy the Titan Sinking series. I think you can get all of them for probably $8. Maybe the high end of your range, $8. And let me know if they talk about Hakushi, if like they do. All right. Is that caffeine free?
No, it is not.
Okay. You're not going to sleep tonight. What's next? What's the great atmosphere? 9. Strong atmosphere show. Look at these scores, man. This thing is trending in a very strong direction. 4.5, 6, 2, 9. Like,
rack and bore.
Yeah, look at it. All right, notable moments. A lot of shit happens on this show.
Ooh.
We get the surprise return of Mr. Perfect. It's the first Survivor Series on a Sunday. It's the first time we get Karate Fighters becomes a Survivor Series staple over the next 3 years. And I believe, did we have a tournament? I think there was one in 95, right? The Karate Fighters tournament. I know 96 definitely has one. I think we did in 95 as well. So that becomes like a Survivor Series annual. The Karate Fighters presents DiBiase buying a kid a spot on the team. He's a sole survivor, help from Sid. So it's a real good kickoff to the heel turn. We get +3 for all the debuts. Kong, Watanabe, Asuka, Inoue, Hasegawa, Asari, Ahmed Johnson. All the greats from
Bad Johnson.
So +3. Undertaker returns from injury with the Phantom Mask. Bret Hart wins the world title. Michaels makes his return from Syracuse.
+10.
The first pay-per-view table bump. Diesel snapping and turning after the title loss ends his white meat babyface run. A point for the last year of the classic Survivor Series logo. This is the end of the road. And then a point for the dark side clean sweep. Again, kind of rare still at this point. So a lot of shit happens on the show. It is very memorable.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, like Sunny being used as not just the fitness lady. I wouldn't have realized at the time, but you pointed out, and it's like, oh yeah, that is the start of that. But plenty of notable moments on the show. Let's see if there's any cons to take away. We get the quiet vanishing for Jean-Pierre Lafitte, balled out by DiBiase, and then he disappears.
What a waste. Sad.
Yeah.
To see. Like, he was good.
Yeah, he was good. He runs in a bit of trouble with the Click, trying to get extra show out of Face and Nash in Montreal, and it just doesn't work out. We get Radford and Skip. Look like a bunch of idiots, not just eliminating Horowitz. Bottom of the barrel for them.
They keep doing the pull up, not pinning. It's like have you been burnt enough? Like, this has been the whole story, is they keep getting burned by picking this guy up instead of pinning him.
We got Alundra Blaze's final pay-per-view. Goes to WCW, trashes the title weeks later. Division is dead, -2 there. And then we get Bigelow's final ever WWF appearance. Never comes back, vanishes, ends with a thud. Political victim of the Click, -2.
Think of all he does. He goes to ECW, WCW, opens the burger place, saves the people from the fire before he passes away.
Yeah.
So
a true shot in the arm in 99 in WCW with the Goldberg feud.
He's still really good across the board. Like, he's great in ECW with the TV title run, loses to RVD to kick off his reign, like crazy reign. And then WCW, he's really good right up until the end.
98.
Like, he's really good the whole time. So it sucks that he just never makes his way back. I'm sure just too many burned bridges, because he kind of burned the bridge in 88 too. So like, it might've been like one time too many. But yeah, so -2 there. Sad. So that gives us a score of 8. So, man, like, we are cooking.
Do we love Bobby?
All right, let's go to our card structure. Whoa. Look. Historically, Marcus, card structure has sunk many a show. I would say we have more card structures in the negative than the positive, but this is a lot. So let's see. A point for the great stip for Hart and Diesel, ties to their past matches with the screwy finishes. A point to have the card filled with classic Survivor matches, 4 out of the 6. A point for Kid being the workhorse, winning the opener, feels elevated out of the group. A good start to his heel push, feels like a big deal. A point for a good way to build out the women's division by tapping into All Japan. The best it's looked, really, since the rebirth in early 90 or late 93. The wildcard boot concept is very inspired. It's a cool idea, smart way, tied to Gorilla, who's building his lore as a people's president right since he arrived. So another cool touch for him. A nice touch as well for Taker to run with the BSK team, kind of, rocking the Dead Man shirts, have him decimate everyone. Again, kind of a wink for those in the know, but it was a cool moment for him to get to be with his boys. Point for the good long story of Diesel's reign, ups and downs, ends a year to the show after his rise started at Survivor Series 94. Point for a good show long threading of Ramon and Kid yet again. They crossed paths all night. A point for the great promo from Diesel. And actually, isn't this show too? Is it the opener where Razor throws the monitor? He's watching the opening match. Is that this? Yeah. Right. We talk about that. So he throws the monitor in the back. He's all pissed off. So it's cool. A great promo from Diesel, like really great before the match. And a point for the card, just perfectly building in weight and star power in at least to an all-time, again, battle of the top dogs of this era. So like, you get your undercard, you get your women, you get your, Taker level, like kind of upper mid card. He's sinking down a little bit. It's kind of your upper mid card. Then you get your main event level guys, and then you get your main event. So it's like, there's a nice, cool, old school progression to the card. So a lot to like about the way they built this card.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to Ramon and Kid, they kind of borrow from 2 years earlier with Savage and Crush, just like the nonstop intensity all night and trying to get at each other. It was really good stuff to see. All right, a lot of pros for card structure. Let's see what we have in the cons.
Whoa!
Nothing. A big nothing.
Look, it helps that it was 6.
Net.
It helps that it was only 6 matches. Mm-hmm. They were organized well. They were built well. Mm-hmm. Everyone was in where they should be. I guess we could have put Goldust Bigelow here, like we talked about earlier. Like, maybe could have done something different, but it wasn't that egregious. Like, it made sense in a vacuum to have the match. So this is a 10 for card structure, Marcus. And we looked before the show. It is the highest scored card structure for us ever so far. So out of the 146 shows, whatever we've done, it is the highest card structure that we've had. So
bit of history.
Pretty awesome. Like, it's really cool. I think the closest we saw was One Night Stand 05, which we know is our top rated show. So like, you're looking at these scores and it's, we've had this before. It's kind of like, are we overrating a show? Is it like, but like, I don't know. It's just a lot to like. And maybe the season sucking so far helped a little bit because the expectations are low, but like, they just built this thing well. The card is built well. The crowd is hot. Stuff happens. Yeah. It's an important show. The in-ring is good. Like, there's just a lot to like. All right, let's see what rewatchability gives us. A point for the Jannetty super bomb on Skip. A point for Aja Kong with the wrecking ball offense right into the back fist to Alundra. A point for Aja using the classic Orient Express theme. They broke that up. Always great. A point for Ramon with the rare light baby blues on. Those are one of my favorite Ramon tights. Nice bounce back from the purple sadness from last show. Johnson, just a ball of energy, unique manic offense. He felt fresh, felt different. First time again using Sunny as a sex symbol, all the innuendo with Clinton. Perfect use of it, like to put her with that sleaze, like it was good stuff. Brett with the table bump, of course. Sir Mo with that amazing choke slam sell and run away. It's like Billy taking the choke slam from Kane. Point from for the Phantom Undertaker mask, and then the Humsley outside in choke slam look great as well.
Yeah. All right. Any cons for rewatchability? Got a couple here. We got Dr. Tom still hanging on as a heavenly body. Feels like a relic already.
It's like, get out of the tights, man. What are you doing?
The hair, yeah. Kid should have changed his look, even his name.
I guess that's it. I think the end of heavenly body.
Yeah, Gigolo is definitely missing in action for good reasons. But Kid changes his look, his name, now associated with DiBiase. Another whiff with the corporation, just a failure to evolve somebody on the card. We have the classic Survivor Series trope of easy eliminations with moves that are really never finishers. We get multiple timing issues with pin covers in the women's match. Lots of like, was that 2 or was that 3? Last second kick out, stuff like that. We get Douglas embarrassed again by the Click. And then as far as the wild card matches, there are a lot of sloppy, awkward transitions and spots. I think Bulldog breaks up a pin when he gets confused. There's like some other instances. Just not fully fleshed out, but it was different. It was chaotic. So understandable.
We could have put the Bigelow because I don't want to watch that. Plays 88 team with a final tribute. There we go. Hit it. Big Daddy Dink. All right. So 4 for rewatchability. All-time matches. Obviously, we had the main event in Brett and Diesel. So that's a +1 there. Nothing bad. So that brings us to an all-time score, or final score, I should say, but it's an all-timer, 44.5, ranking it 5th all-time for us so far. Look, coming in, I would have thought it was going to be high. I would have assumed top 15-ish. But man, I was surprised. It was like, but then again, you watch it and it's like, this is a really good show. It's easy to watch. It's fun. Like, it's just a strong outing for them.
Yeah, you look at the company it keeps now. We'll do our official rundown, but one before, one after. You have Rumble 02 right behind it, and that's very focused around the Royal Rumble match. You get a big match with Rock and Jericho, but then you have SummerSlam 05, which SummerSlams traditionally do really well for us, but it's a very focused show. Everything's built up really well on that show, and the big climax, the big main event there with Hogan and Michaels. So a lot of the same themes with these 3 shows. It's a focus show. It stays true to the theme of the show. Everything's built up. Everything has a build for the most part. And then you have a mega main event.
Yeah.
That delivers.
I looked quick at Warzone. I had given this a 7.5, and Chad gave it a 7. That feels low compared to this, but again, we rank different things on different shows, right? Like that one's really focused more on kind of the in-ring and overall presentation. We don't get into the nuance as much and rack up points across the board. So, I mean, I'm not going to argue. Like, there's been other ones I felt dirtier about, like like SummerSlam 90 and a couple of ones that we had high. Kind of, we felt like, is there a break in the system or something? But In Your House 1 was another one that we were kind of like, yeah, should this be this high? But I think this show is held in enough regard that it feels like, okay, again, maybe a top 12, not a top 5, but we have a lot more to do. So, like, by the time we're through the other seasons, like, this will probably be 12 to 15 is my guess, like, as other shows pop in over this. But still pretty fun. All right, let's get to our top 10. New shakeup. 10th, SummerSlam 2015 at 39.25. And I guess, Marcus, real quick, we can look at, let's see what bumped out from that top 10. SummerSlam 01 is now in 11th. So
wow.
Out of the top 10.
Great show, but a lot of great shows here as we get into the top 10. So at number 9, we have WrestleMania 7 with a 39.5.
Number 8, Vengeance 05 with a 41.
Number 7, SummerSlam 1990 with a 42.
Number 6, Rumble 02 with a 44.
Our newest addition in at number 5, the Survivor Series 1995 with a 44.5.
We have SummerSlam 2005 in 4th with a 46.5.
Coming in at number 3, WrestleMania 30 with a 47.25.
And WrestleMania 22 is in 2nd at 56.5.
And at number 1, safe for now, ECW One Night Stand 2005 with a plus 79.
Will it ever be caught? That is the tale as old as time for this show. We'll see. We'll see what's left to capture the potential number 1 spot. All right. Happy New Year, everyone. We'll be back in 2 weeks with In Your House 5 Seasons Beatings, and we will wrap that up. We didn't mention earlier, and we didn't put the logo. I guess we're in 2026 now, so we'll let it go. But this really kind of was a spiritual successor to No So 95 as we pay tribute to 95 all through 2025. We got one more show to go to wrap that up. So we'll tag this as part of the No So 95 project, even though we're out of 25. I want to thank everyone for watching. Subscribe. Make sure to check out the Final Wrestling Place Patreon. Support my boys, Marcus and Tim. You get the Marcus Opportunity Corner emails in your inbox if you want to look to raise some ducats. And, of course, Marcus and Tim. They're running through TNA Impact and all other kind of cool content. You get the original Final Wrestling Place part of that as well. So be sure to check it all out over at the Patreon. Support my dudes and support us. I want to thank you for all your love throughout 2025 and welcoming us in here to 2026. Stay tuned to the No-So as we head into Rumble season and eventually the road to WrestleMania and beyond. Until then, live your life above replacement level. I'll talk to you soon.